As we go into our first unit, we're going to talk a lot about argumentative writing, but first, let's talk about the purpose and the tone of argumentative writing. As you're watching these videos, remember to take out your guided notes and follow along. The bits that are underlined, more or less, will be the things that you're writing in your guided notes in your digital notebook. Okay, first let's talk about the purpose of argumentative writing. So argumentative writing is a type of writing that states a specific claim that is backed up by evidence. So it's got both a claim and evidence. The purpose is to get your reader to understand or recognize that your side of the argument is valid. To do this, you use factual evidence to help your reader understand your argument. Now, I want you to see that we are getting them to understand or recognize that your side is valid. You are just trying to get your audience to recognize or understand your perspective. While a traditional argument, say with your sibling, is all about winning and proving that you're right, argumentative writing is not a debate. There are no sides win. It's just about recognizing and understanding your perspective. Let's talk about some of the ways that you can get your reader to understand your argument. You can do this by doing the following. Number one, you can cite your evidence. Number two, you can use credible and relevant evidence. You want to use credible and relevant evidence because if you're just bringing out crazy theories that have nothing to do with what you're talking about, your argument is not going to be understood and it's not going to come off as reputable or strong. Lastly, consider your audience's familiarity and understanding of the topic. You probably don't have to tell your audience what a cell phone is, but if you're talking about data tracking, maybe you do want to provide a definition. Thinking about tone, remember, you are not trying to win the debate or the conversation. You're not trying to convince your audience to choose your side. You only want them to see that your argument is valid. To do this, you want to be calm and logical in your tone. You want to acknowledge the other side. You want to acknowledge that the other side is worthy of consideration. If you're having an argument with your sibling, you might say, hey, no, your opinion is dumb. But if you do that in an essay, you don't seem valid because you're just attacking them. So you want to be calm and you want to present your facts logically. When you're thinking about tone, here are some of the ways that you can help your reader recognize your argument. You can do the following. You offer facts, reasons, and evidence to support your argument. You use logic-based arguments. So you're not appealing to their emotions. You're not guilt-tripping them. You're using logic to make your case. And then, once again, the most important part is to provide evidence with your claims. And those pieces of evidence should match your claims and support them. Even more stuff about tone. Your argument is not going to come off as valid if you do the following. If you are aggressive towards the other side, if you threaten someone else's opinion, or if you choose irrelevant evidence. This can occur if you use information that does not fit your point, doesn't make sense, etc. So if you're throwing out nonsense evidence that doesn't match your claims, you're not going to seem very valid. If you're aggressive, if you attack the other side, if you threaten someone else's opinion, all of these are not going to seem valid and they're not credible. You're not making a good case for your argument. This talks more about the formal parts of writing, but in your argumentative writing, you are not going to use personal pronouns such as I, me, my, you, etc. I want you to remove these from your writing. So an example of a poorly written piece of evidence. In my opinion, I think the evidence says blah. You don't want to say things like this because it comes across as informal, like you don't really know what you're talking about. So instead, I want you to get rid of those pronouns and say something like, the evidence displays that. This will help your tone, it'll keep it more formal, and it'll keep you from veering off into those emotional appeals instead of the logic base that we're looking for. So that's it about the purpose and tone of your argumentative writing, but just as a reminder, our writing model follows this suit. So we've got our claim, our bridge, our evidence, analysis, and our concluding statement. You'll notice that I colored these because I'm going to ask you to do the same thing in your writing because it helps both me and you distinguish between the two. Then overall, the big picture of our unit for the next couple of weeks is you're going to be able to write an argumentative paragraph that includes a claim, bridge, evidence, analysis, and a concluding statement. We are going to use this model, so this is important because we're going to be using this model throughout the entire year to respond to a variety of topics. Now that you've finished the video, I want you to go ahead and go back to Canvas and start working on the assignments for this lesson.